nothing against Emmanuel Mosley, but here's how I have this depth chart shaking out right now. Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley, and the third, as many people would believe, is Diamador Lenore. Can never get that right on one shot. Diamador Lenore. Dante Johnson's the number 3 cornerback. Yeah. And that's no slight at him either, right? Like, again, I'm not talking bad about him, but the difference between Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley and Dante Johnson and Emmanuel Mosley is vast, right? Yeah. So you have to remember, put yourself in the offensive coordinator's shoes. You see Jason Verrett on one side, you know what he's capable of and what the heights that he hit last year. And you only could think that that's going to improve based on him being healthy and him being confident and getting back in there, right? So who are you going to pick on? Emmanuel Mosley, right? And we've seen offenses do this. Yes. Go back to the Miami game. All it took was Brian Allen to be out there for that entire defense to go away. Like, and there was nothing that anybody else could do because you're getting picked on. Now, nothing against Emmanuel Mosley and Dante Johnson, but now you got your pick. So picture Jason Verrett going down in a game against the Seattle Seahawks. It's a big divisional game. Now you've got Dante Johnson and Emmanuel Mosley trying to cover Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. I don't care how inept that offense might be running at that time, even though they have a new offensive coordinator. That's pretty simple. You can attack either of those guys, and it would be a huge liability. I don't care how good the pass rush is. I really don't. That's not going to be good enough to stop all that, because then all you have to do is get the ball in those guys' hands and on a quick slant, something like that. Neither of those guys can cover both of them. So, yes, Jason Verrett, that's my pick.
Yeah, I think Jason Verrett, I want to stick with the defense here when we go through this, and then we'll go offense later. But I think on defense, he's the most irreplaceable player. I think he's number 1. And what's so interesting to me is, the Niners really have gone overboard at quarterback in ways that no one else in the league have. 27 million man on one side, 3 first-round picks on the other. They're good there. But on defense, if anything were to happen to Jason Verrett, if they didn't have him for one game, all of a sudden their starting cornerbacks would be Emmanuel Mosley and Dante Johnson. And if you're going up against a good offense, I don't know if you can win that game. You're a run-first team. It could get bad. It could get really bad. So it's like the Niners have all this protection and insurance at the most important position, but this is a very important position too, and you have no insurance here. Like, Diamador Lenore looks good. He might look like the best rookie on the team right now, but I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about Diamador Lenore and Emmanuel Mosley starting? I mean, I'd be kind of scared. I'd be kind of nervous.
Going into camp, I was super afraid. Now I'm much more confident now that I've seen Lenore put it together, so I feel much better. I think that when you start to get past Lenore, then, oh my God, it gets like the Ambry Thomas thing, anybody else that they were bringing in, that is absolute death to this defense. So with Lenore, I'm
oh my God, if Ambry Thomas played this year, oh my God.
I'm holding back I'm holding back, going crazy on all that. It just, Lenore looks a little bit better than I thought. But again, I don't want to effuse praise on somebody who has only done it in preseason games, right? Let's see what happens when, again, the Chiefs game, they only ran their guys out there for, maybe one drive. We're talking about Tyreek Hill, all those guys. That was like one drive. With the Chargers didn't run any of them out there. So they didn't have to cover Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and all those guys. I'm not saying that I'm trying to knock down Lenore. I'm just saying that context needs to be thrown in when you talk about their performances in those games. So if they were locking down the Chargers in week 3 or whatever, like if they played in a regular season game and Lenore was clamping, Williams, Guyton, and Allen, then I feel like that. But it's hard for me to say, okay, that's just going to translate right over to the regular season because he's beating up on backups. So I mean, we'll see.
That's a good point. And I've seen Lenore in one-on-ones, and I kind of I don't ever see him win against Tebow and Ayuk. So that's why I pump the brake. Like, Ambry does a better job against those guys in one-on-ones, which isn't real football, but it's something. So that's why I'm a little nervous, and I feel like you put in all this insurance over here. If I don't, it may not matter which quarterback you have out there. If your corners are Mosley and Johnson and a rookie, it may not matter which quarterback you got.
You're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir. I wanted them to go get AJ Boye. I wanted them to go get Steven Nelson. I wanted guys with track records in the NFL on this team. But, they obviously, again, Shanahan and Lynch, they have their guys. Dante Johnson's going to be on this roster as long as he's able to play football, and you had to know that was going to be coming. So I'm not going to say that I know better than them, but this was the biggest concern on this team for me was if something happens to Jason Verrett, now you are in dire straits at this point. So you have to hope that Lenore can translate that from the preseason over. I have a good feeling that he can. That doesn't mean that he necessarily will, if that makes any sense.